What is up, my beautiful gemstones? Welcome to Tuesday's Afternoon Talk, our Tuesday afternoon chat and discuss show, talk show. So good to see you guys. Thank you all for stopping in. I just did an hour-long interview, a pre-recorded with Paranormal Odyssey Radio. I got to get more information as to when that goes out and how that works. It's an FM station. I believe that covers the Atlanta area. I just know it's a huge FM station, and I was blessed to be a part of it. So I just got done doing that, came right from that to here. And so good to see everybody. We've got Total, Lotus Girl, Paranormal Pixie, and Raymond. What is up? Let me bring in the Ghost Dragon.
Why? You do fine without me.
I talk too much.
Like, am I going to stop you?
I was just going to say, I guess I talk too much with or without you.
Like, am I going to really stop you? But I'm good. How's everybody? You know, sometimes life is a sucking swirly. I won't go there.
You know, I know you guys, just to bring it up, and there's not many people in here, so I'll probably repeat it later. A lot of people have been asking why the heck I am releasing 3 books in a row. Let me explain. So I haven't released a book since November of 2022. The Midnight Visitors and the Campfire Stories, those are encounter books. So they don't take, other than speaking to the person with the encounter and verifying any emails I got or however I got the encounter, they don't take much more than that. Encounter books, aside from that little bit, there's no research, so those were very, I don't want to say easy for me to write, but they were just compiling encounters from people that I knew were telling me the truth about their encounter and getting rid of the people I thought were lying and putting the books out. Danger at Your Door took me about a year, a little bit more to write because there was so much more to that. These encounter books take me like a month because a lot of it comes from you guys, even if not my gemstones, just people who hear on YouTube that I need encounters and they send them in and they give them to me. So that's how I was able to put all 3 out at the same time. I know not everyone can purchase all 3 books. Honestly, if you get it on Kindle, worst businesswoman in the world, but it's a little cheaper. And just if you guys did buy the books in any capacity, whether you got it on paperback, Kindle, or Audible, even if you don't feel like reviewing it, just click the 5-star rating for me. I asked everyone to rate the book, and someone actually went and gave me 4 stars, which they were being honest about their opinion, but it did now bring my rating down on Midnight Visitors. And that book, I was hoping to get that one to number 1 too. So thank you, Miss Pixie. Thank you, Raymond. You guys are so sweet. So yeah, people are like, we just bought a book, like, and then another one, and now this one. This one actually isn't fully released until February 6th. It's only pre-order on Amazon right now. But that's how I was able to do that. Encounter books are very simple for someone like me who's already used to the process of putting a book out. You know what I'm saying? So these are also all self-published, these 3. So these are basically the biggest of my career because I'm doing it myself. Now, I do have my mentor helping me, he who does not want to be named. So I'm going to keep his information private. We'll just call him Lord Voldemort. And he's good with that. So am I. And I'm good with taking all the credit. But I can't actually take all the credit. Like, I wish I could just be like, yeah, I'm doing it all myself. And like, I can't because I'm not. But I do all the writing myself. And I do most of it myself, you know. He's there like for the background stuff to help me learn the self-publishing process. Mark Hull said, what's up, sweetheart? So I also know, yeah, Paranormal Pixie, that's exactly what he said. But I felt uncomfortable. I got to be honest, because I felt uncomfortable asking you guys to buy 3 books in a row. Even though Midnight Visitors was $10 book, I believe, I keep going to say Listener Encounters. Campfire Stories is also, I believe, going to be another $10.99 book, if it's not less. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but some people, they weren't angry with me, but they were like, I can't buy 3 books. Like, I'm sorry. I'm like, that's okay. Like, what do you want me to say? I hate you now? But yeah, I really, Midnight Visitors, I was hoping hit #1 with Danger at Your Door. But it didn't yet. That was something, hitting #1 for my first self-published book. And, I did get a decibel of satisfaction from a certain person or certain people that I happen to go #1 over. Paranormal Odyssey. So I was just telling you guys I was doing this amazing interview with an FM radio station, but I didn't really have the information about it. The host for that is Wayne. Wayne, this is our afternoon Tuesday chat where we don't really have like anything we really talk about. We let the chat kind of guide us, and hopefully we delve into the paranormal a little bit. I was just pushing my books on everybody.
Unlike me, who, when I have a dream, everybody talks about food and comic books and health.
The Campfire Stories is also going to be a series, like Listener Encounters on my channel, but I'm going to try to do it like MP&M does their videos, with me maybe voice overing some stock footage. So that's kind of what how I'm trying to set it up. And depending how well that book sells, I'm hoping to make it a whole series. And Wayne, I did not forget, I have to send you the links to all the books. I just didn't have time right when we were done. I had so much fun talking to you. We did 57-minute interview, and I felt like it was like 10 minutes. It just flew right by. It was such a great interview.
Yeah, she's a good rambler.
Listen, I haven't stopped since I hit go live 9 minutes ago. I told him, he's like, do you think you have 55 minutes worth of stuff to talk about? And I was like, I've literally been on interviews before. Like when I did the show Disembodied Voices on the Powerflix Network, I talked so much that I think I was the first person ever to get a 2-hour episode.
You got a lot to say.
I do. I don't have real life friends. I tell you guys that all the time. You guys are it for me. And Donna, I don't have real life friends. I stay inside. And I work all day.
Gee, thanks. I think I'll just go ahead and go now.
No. I want to get into the paranormal. I want to get into a good discussion, but I know it usually takes a couple minutes. Nutslap, what's up? At work again? Jesus, I spoke to you at like 11 o'clock last night. You weren't even done work yet. Maraid, so nice to see you. Thank you for coming in.
Hello, lady in pink.
So guys, I just want to quickly, I know my shorts over the weekends may have come off as a little aggressive. I definitely wasn't trying to be aggressive. I was just trying to vent a little bit to you guys and just put a few things out there so you guys would understand. Oh my gosh, Lotus, thank you so much. Thank you. You're my real life friend and my girlfriend knows. I love it, Raymond. So this weekend was a hard one for me. I was struggling with a lot of the kind of stuff I talk to you guys about, right? About being graceful always and always treating everyone with kindness, even when we're angry and even when they're coming at us without it. And I finally had to put those lessons into action this weekend. And I caught myself slipping a couple of times, but I definitely think I handled everything pretty good. Great. So Paranormal Odyssey, I know you mentioned that there's like an FM radio station, but I didn't really understand. There's other podcasts we can listen to it on too, if you want to let us know. And guys, Wayne, the Paranormal Odyssey is also a YouTube channel. So if you guys want to go over there, they talk about a lot of the same stuff that we do, or he does. It's a great channel. I watched some of it last night.
First, I have to raise my hand.
You may speak.
Give him a wrench so he can post all of his links.
Oh yeah. Can you? I'm watching Exposing Justin Timberlake's Daughter and reviewing Britney Spears' book on YouTube. Now I got to go into another tab. Hold on. That's what I do.
So I knew you had
working. I'm working.
As she
I
listens.
have to make sure nobody's talking bad about Brittany, okay? Oh, my own stream, that would. I'm a professional. Oh, guys, thank you so much for checking out the videos yesterday. The mind-controlled model Candy Jones and the Phantom Black Flash entity. I definitely, so coming next Monday for the whole channel, I have more very strange and suspicious deaths in ufology. So I have the Marconi murders, some of them anyway. I'm just waiting for the chat to pop up, Wayne, and I'm going to give you a wrench there so that you can share any links you need to share, not only of my interview, but of your channel and all that, because some of my subscribers may not know your channel. John P. Adventures.
Hello, John P. Good to see you, man.
Lotus, I had to wear my lucky necklace for my interview. I was nervous for like a second. And then, as what normally happens, I looked at Wayne and just saw his energy. And I was like, okay, I'm good. Don't have to be nervous anymore. I love when that happens, when I feel very like at peace and safe with somebody in an interview, because I feel more like I can be myself and I don't have to edit myself. I hate when he just leaves without telling me where he's going. Okay, here we go. Let's get Paranormal Odyssey a wrench here. Marie, it's so nice to see you. What a nice surprise.
Oh, I leave because I know it annoys you. No.
Yeah, I just wonder, like, where do you go?
Oh, I run around the house a couple times.
Where do you go?
No, actually, a lot of times I'm sneezing or going to the bathroom because I drink too much coffee. And this time it was, I could hear the toads smacking the side of the tank. They don't they don't like your pink monkey when he turns and looks inside. So they smack him in the face.
Do you know I dried some gnomes. Now, luckily, I didn't dry the really nice ones you sent me last year. All of those ones are safe.
Okay.
The other ones my mom got me from like Rite Aid, the 4th of July ones, I didn't dry any of the ones you gave me because I just had an inkling in the back of my head it wasn't going to turn out right. And we dried them for too long. I was trying to, like, you know, give them a fluff. You know what I'm saying? I was moving them from one place to another, give them a little fluff, get all the dust off them. They've been sitting at mom's. They melted into the dryer. There was nothing but fluff and metal left of my freaking gnomes. I did 4 of them. 2 Valentine's Day ones I brought myself that I really, really liked a lot, and 2 4th of July ones. But the reason I bring that up is because you remember the little thing, mine says me and yours says you. That and RJ Spider-Man survived. Everything else melted. Oh, yes. Guys, Paranormal Odyssey, Lara, hold that thought. Guys, Paranormal Odyssey is popping up his links. If you guys want to go over and check out and subscribe over there, he has become a good friend of mine in a matter of just a few days, because that's how I roll. When someone's energy is great, I want to hold on to that person in my life, right? And that's what we should all be doing. Lotus Girl, no worries, sweetie. I know you'll catch up. Let me know if you didn't see both of them, because I will send you the link to the one. Oh yeah, Paranormal Pixie said, I had the pleasure of being interviewed by Bigfoot Michigan Rob last Thursday afternoon. It was so enjoyable. The time just flew by. Yes, I actually listened to some of that when I had a little bit of free time. You did amazing. You looked beautiful, as always. He's really cool. I don't remember. I know I had a couple of interviews set up with him, and then he had to pull out. He had stuff going on like at the last minute, and then he just never got back to me. This was like a year ago. So I don't know what happened there, but I've been interviewed by him a few times too. He's really chill. He is very easy to talk to. You did awesome, by the way. Not that you really need me to tell you that. I'm sure you know. You're just too humble to say it. I don't know. Those of you who saw my Facebook, today started out as a pretty rough day for me. Damien's biological father died of OD 2 years ago on this day. And it's been rough. It hit me at like almost midnight what the date was. You know what I'm saying? And I posted some tribute to him on Facebook. And it's been an interesting 12 hours since then, I could just say. I always talk about how my loved ones do not show up for me. And as he did in life, he told me to stop being a brat and showed up. And I remember that song by Ja Rule where it's like, I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. I would always yell at him and be like, you're never there when I call. Oh, you're always there when I call, but you're never on time. He's like, which one do you want? So just sharing some memories of him, thinking about him today. And you know, it's been hard. It's been rough. I want to reach out to Damien and be like, hey, are you good? But I also don't want to put it in his head in case he forgot. If he forgot, more power to him, let him, forget. So come on, guys, give me something to talk about. Ghost Dragons, anything paranormally interesting happened to you this weekend?
Nothing I'd like to discuss right now, to be quite honest.
Okay.
Kind of a...
You had to go out, is why I'm asking. Because you're like me, when I have to leave the house or my property, something paranormally interesting always happens.
Well, things have been pretty chilled up until then. And it wasn't before that. There was like 3 months that it was really bad. And I was seeing some bad stuff. And it chilled out. And then yesterday, kind of blew that. And it kind of got to me because I saw something I hadn't seen in years. And it really kind of made me freeze in my footsteps. I'll go ahead and say it. I saw the Hat Man again in public.
Oh, Jesus. What is he doing lurking around you?
I don't know, but he was standing behind a cash register lady at Kroger's, and he smiled again. And that's the thing. Everybody says, oh, you can see his eyes. I don't see no eyes. Just that evil smile he gives me.
You can't always see the eyes, though. That's only sometimes.
But he gives me this really evil, just gut-wrenching smile that it's the only thing I see. And it's nothing but sharp teeth and a grin, Joker smile with fangs all over. And it's like he's one of the few that I know now that I can see them for sure. And he proved it the other day, and it messed me up.
So I know that, and you guys can definitely, please feel free to weigh in on this. Okay. And thank you guys, everyone who subscribed to Wayne's channel. He is awesome and doing really great work in all fields, but specifically cryptid, Bigfoot type stuff. So I want to ask you, Ghost Dragon, since you're willing to at least talk about some of it, have you come up with a connection between the people you see that have that thing that I don't even think at this point that Hatman is even a shadow entity anymore? I'm starting to think Hatman is a separate entity that controls. I used to think he was just a higher level shadow. I think it's something. I think Hatman is something completely different that is a higher level that is controlling a lot of the shadow entities. But I'm laughing because Lotus Girl is so funny. You always notice. Do you notice any connections? Do they ever show up around someone so you can see if anything happens? I mean, not like with your teacher that time, but anything like that. Lotus Girl, this is supposed to be the exact same one as my other long pink ones. I wanted a new one because those were looking ratty from wearing them outside. I don't think this is the same exact wig because this one I feel like looks fake and the other ones look very real, but that could just be me being picky. Go ahead, Steven. Marie, love you, honey. Thank you so much for coming in. Stop in anytime. Even if you stop in when we're doing Oracle, which this weekend will be Saturday, and be like, listen, I can't stay. If you know, but can you give me a timestamp? Every once in a while, I wouldn't mind reading a card for you. Go ahead, Stephen. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. That's fine. Actually, I've been lucky enough. I've seen things with friends. Chuck, the one that passed away about a year ago.
Yes.
He had something following him, and I tried to warn him, and kind of laughed at me. And then 3 months later, he passed. So there is a connection to some of it, but he's the only friend that ever had something I saw, then something happened to. Now with the Hat Man, I've only seen him twice now, and that's when I was in 5th grade. And now yesterday's event was weird because when he smiled, I swore he said something to me. But I don't
telepathically?
No, his mouth moved.
But I've seen shadow entities sometimes, and I haven't seen it in a long time, where their mouth will move, but they're really actually speaking in here. It's like a distinction that you don't know if you're hearing it in your ears or your head, but it comes. I've never heard them actually vocally speak, but I don't know that it's impossible.
He said something, and I'm still registering it. That's why I won't try to repeat what he said.
It's probably going to take a while.
It kind of freaked me out, but at the same time, it was like I've never had any of the, other than the white-eyed girl who outright told me that I would never see her again, and just kind of, she's the only one that's ever spoke to me. This kind of freaked me out. I'm shaking. It's bad enough I have tremors, so try shaking and tremoring at the same time. It's not a good feeling. My hairs are standing up on the back of my neck. I don't know what I can't process what he said. But I do know as I walked away, he said something again. Now, that might have been telepathically because my back was turned and I could feel it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Him watch me leave. And the lady at the register goes, "Why are you shaking?" I go, "Oh, I got tremors." But I was having tremors and shaking at the same time, and it was obvious. And I paid, and I tried to be real pleasant to her. I wanted to say something so bad.
I know, but we live in a society where you can't.
But see, this is the thing. With the teacher, he wasn't my teacher. It was a teacher down the hall.
I remember that encounter. I might rustle it up for the next listener encounters. It was a good one.
He was a 6th grade teacher, so I would have had one of the two that were down at the end of the hall the following year. That's why I asked the next year, where was he when he had passed? And for years, sometimes it still haunts me that I should have said something to him. But again, what do you say at the end?
I was going to say, what could you have possibly said? Especially as a kid, they would have locked you away.
My dad, when he picked me up that day, would not believe me. And it was obvious. Even my mom says, "Why is he so scared?"
So Raymond says, when I was in the dark, I saw a full body apparition and a lot of different number references and demonic drawings like transformation from human to werewolves. I left the state and found the light again. I'm so glad you did, because I feel like, and you've discussed publicly that you were in addiction, because I've never spoken to you privately. So I know you had to have said it. So this is not me. Pixie, hold that thought for sure. This is not me exposing anything about you, but I feel like so many people that are in addiction, that are light workers, it is so against what we were put here for that it affects us a lot harder and a lot worse. I'm not saying we had like a worse addiction or we lost more. I'm saying energetically, I think it's just so disconnected from what we were put here for. It's like the complete opposite of what we were put here for, that there is really a lot that comes along with that. I know not everyone's religious, and I'm not suggesting anyone else do this, but for me, I am thinking of getting rebaptized. I feel like getting baptized while messed up in my addiction wasn't enough. For me, I need to do that again. I've been thinking a lot about it lately. Why do my manifestations take so long? Like, I know what I'm doing. Why do I still feel in this rut? And like, again, I'm only human, but I just feel like there's something on me that I'm not able to get off. And I feel like, in my opinion, because of my religion, the only thing I think that will help that is my Lord and Savior. So I'm going to be looking into this June getting rebaptized. If I do, of course, I'll bring you guys. I'll stream it, or at least put a video up of it, because I've been thinking a lot about that lately. I've been feeling very convicted about standing in that pool in the middle of my church, talking about how I escaped addiction while I was really, turns out that day, it had been within an hour that I had used, that I was being baptized. And I just feel like there's something wrong about it. Now, I know my pastor's like, you don't have to, like, it's okay. That wasn't what it was about. But I know if I tell him that's what I want to do, and that's why, I'll be able to. So I'm looking into that for my own personal spiritual welfare. Mairead, it was so good to see you. I thought you said you left already. That's why I said goodbye to you earlier. But like I said, if you ever stop in every once in a while, if you can't stay, I know it's late for you. I don't mind every once in a while reading a card for you and just putting the time, having Stephen put the timestamp in the in the comments. We've been unfortunately getting done so early and hardly having any readings the past 2 weeks. It wouldn't be a problem at all. So I want to cover what Lotus Girls just said, and then I want to give you a chance to respond to Lara. Lotus Girl said, I've never truly experienced anything except a UFO once during the day and ghost cats. I believed in paranormal since I could remember. I do have a picture of a demon with yellow eyes looking at me. Whether you've physically experienced it, Tennille, what I want you to understand is, first of all, you and I are... we're soul connected, like me, and about I've actually run into 9 or 10 people through YouTube that I'm connected like that with. But you and I specifically have always been very connected in past lives. And I feel like for some reason, and I don't know what the connection is, my abilities, I feel like, are connected. This is going to sound so weird because I'm not saying it how I want to. I was going to say my abilities are connected to yours in a way. I feel like you could probably have the same thing I do, but you're just not opened up enough to it. And that may be why you've never had experiences that you recognize as experiences, but I think you've had a lot more than you actually realize. It may be a memory thing. There could be something that happened in a past life that your soul maybe didn't get over yet, and you're not able to see it. I'll talk to you more privately about it. This is something I've been discussing with my guides, but I'm not finding the right words. I love you too, wifey girl.
Take care of yourself, hon.
All right. So Lara had asked you, Stephen.
Yes.
She said,
Goes, why would I would love to help. I love to see if I can help you interpret it. Well, first of all, Laura, I appreciate that. But I have 2 people in my lives. I think I've stated this before, Thomas and Patricia, who are kind of my real life guides. They understand the fact that I can shut off people, but I can't shut off the things I see. So they help me deal with it. They help me kind of come to terms with things sometimes. I think it's pretty sad. I grew up with these 2, and I think my mom and dad only met them twice. And one of them I even went to church with. So they do a pretty good job. I am meeting with Thomas Thursday for lunch or breakfast. He hasn't decided yet. He's a minister. And Patricia, I'm supposed to meet with over the weekend. She's out of town right now. She does a lot of traveling. So, and it just, see, some people kind of don't understand that I just can't shut that off. I've tried everything, and I have come to the conclusion, because of the lady in the light, that I'm not supposed to block it, and I won't be allowed to block it.
Well, you're an observer. That's a big, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, I'm trying to let you talk, but people have to understand too, being an observer is extremely rare. There might be, as far as I knew, there were only like a dozen. I'm coming to find there are more, but it's still like one of the most rarest gifts that I've ever actually come across. And I've spoken to Spirit about it. Usually on your last lifetime, if you were to want to be an observer, it would be like within your last 3 lifetimes, you would have to have done, more than 1,000 lifetimes. Like, there's so many things that go into being an observer for your soul. And then you don't get to have the best life while you're here because of that. So you have to sacrifice a lot, soul wise. It's like, you don't really even have much of a contract. You have a little bit, but not like everybody else does. There's a big difference in the soul of an observer to other people, is what I'm trying to say.
Pixie, it's not a trust thing. Well, it is in a way. It's not that I don't trust you. It's just, I grew up with these people. They have helped me deal with this since I was very young. Patricia really didn't get where she was meant to be until her teens. So she's kind of up on me on that. And she's a spiritist. She's a lot like Gemma. More than that, if these two would meet, it would literally look like they were looking in a mirror. Patricia.
I remember.
If they would look at each other, it'd probably be like their souls looking into each other's mirrors. They're a lot alike in a lot of ways. Patricia's more like a sister to me. The sister I never had. But it's just because they've known me for so long. They've seen the effects, the after effects, especially when, like, the last few months when I was seeing just the worst things imaginable, that they've been through these things with me. So it's a lot of it is about that. So yeah, I mean, I trust you, Laura. It's just that they know my history. They know. It's kind of like going to the doctor.
And also, sometimes you don't want to talk publicly. That doesn't mean you don't want to talk to specifically Lara.
Right.
There are people that aren't a part of this group that are going to be watching, and I've been more mindful of that too, believe it or not, lately. So
there are, and I have people out there that do watch a stream. That let's just say we're not enemies. We have respect for each other, but yeah, they let's just say that I've put them in a place a little too many times, and he didn't like it. So, but yeah, it's, that's the only thing that bums me out, is the fact that there are days, and often goes, I don't want to see what I see. And it's like, well, stand in my shoes for a little bit, but I don't like saying that because I don't know, what other people feel. It's like when people talk about pain. I don't say, oh, my pain is worse than yours, because I don't know how you deal with pain. Everybody deals with pain differently. This is just like the paranormal world. Everybody deals with it differently. So I don't want to come off as, oh, I'm more traumatic than yours, or mine's. No, it's not that. It's not that simple. Everybody sees things through their eyes and their mindset. So I don't know how
I keep looking out the window. No, I'm glad that you're finally speaking. I wasn't looking at you any type of way. I was looking out the window to see if it was snowing. I don't have curtains on my bedroom window, so when I'm looking up, I'm looking right outside, and with the snow, it just looks really pretty, but it's all melting. Some of the things I said in chat that I thought that I wanted to say to you guys. So Heidi Hollis trademarked shadow people, the word. So I'm glad that I use shadow entities in my book, not even meaning to. So I was talking about the Hat Man isn't demonic in my experience, but I do believe that sometimes demons are intertwined with shadow people, the Hat Man specifically somehow, but I think it's something to do with dimensions. Like maybe where the shadow people come from is one level above where demons come from, which we would call, I guess, hell, you know, for lack of a better term. They're not demons or demonic, but I do believe there's some connection.
I will say this when it comes to the Hat Man. Jules, he has power. You know, Edna's said that her daughter was having problems with a thing that was looking over her bed while this Hat Man sat in a chair and watched everything.
The Hat Man is definitely the puppeteer of the shadow people.
I totally agree with that, because he has a say, and it's weird. It's kind of like when I see the one black-eyed kid. I don't know why I see him the way I see him in the hospital. But the more I see him, the more I piece together that there's a bigger purpose to this entity. My only question is, why am I the only one that sees this entity? How come I can't find it? And I've looked, and I'm still looking for anybody who has seen this thing in the hospital. And it bugs the crap out of me, because
do you wonder if maybe do you think you're the only one that can see it because of your abilities are allowing it, or do you think it's only presenting itself to you? What's up, Julie girl?
I honestly don't know. That's what bothers me, because you know, there's more black-eyed kid encounters than we know. You know,
for sure.
There's a lot of people out there that will never talk about what happened. But in this case, you would think, as much as, I mean, I literally see this thing in every hospital I've ever been in. Every hospital. You know, when I was at the Veterans Hospital, it was bad enough that I saw so many poor vets with just these things behind them. And then down the hall, when we went to look at, go to my dad's foot doctor, there he was, standing in front of a door, just looking in the door. And when I went to look back, he was gone. So I don't know if he went into the room or just left. I literally followed him around for 20 minutes before he went into a part of the hospital I couldn't go. You should see me trying to hide my camera, because I don't want people yelling at me I'm taking pictures inside of a hospital.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm trying to catch pictures of this guy. But every time I took a picture, either somebody was in front of the camera or he wasn't standing there. And I was getting so pissed off. I literally, at one point toward the end, was running to catch up with him. And by the time I got to him, he entered a door that said employees only. Well, it was like, what do you want to call it?
Was it like a locked unit?
It was,
because they do have in a lot of hospitals locked units.
It was a locked
unit. A resident area would be like a locked, like where people live would be a locked unit.
I got the word at the tip of my tongue. Like intensive care.
Okay.
So I couldn't go in. And I stood there and I looked through that window and I kept watching and watching. But when he went through the door, he was gone. So I don't know if he immediately went to a room. But what am I supposed to think when I see this kid walking around in bib overalls, a red and striped shirt, and has black-eyed kid features?
No, I don't.
You would think somebody in this world who sees the same thing would speak up. That's all I want.
It's probably only showing itself to you and like toying with you. I've noticed that people with specific missions, observer, people with specific types of abilities like myself, paranormal entities and creatures love to mess with us. because it brings our vibration down when we're agitated, when we're confused, when we're, nervous. If we're not functioning at our highest level that is possible. And that's exactly what they want. Even if we're not giving them fear, they're at least accomplishing something to take us down a peg or two. For some reason, that this is paranormal, but a bit off topic. What you just said reminded me of an encounter I heard where this doctor, because I've been working on either for a book or for a video or both, encounters like medical doctors, nurses, hospital encounters, basically, because those types of people don't really believe. Most nurses believe, most doctors do not. So anyway, this doctor got calls in. This guy was schizophrenic or diagnosed schizophrenic, and he lived in a hospital, or was at least staying there for a little bit. Okay, he had been admitted or committed something, and it was a 12, 13-year-old kid. And the mother came to visit, and every time she would visit, she visited as much as she could, like 3 times a week. The kid would say, I can't sleep with this boy who sits at the foot of my bed every night in that chair and just talks to me all night long. And he's not saying anything bad. It's just he doesn't let me sleep. He doesn't want me to sleep. He wants me to be dead like him. So the mom's freaking out, like the medications aren't working. She calls the doctor in. After about a month of this, the doctor has had enough, and he doesn't know how to convince this schizophrenic kid that there's nobody in his room. There are no ghosts. There's no such thing, which is why I tell you it's very dangerous to tell children, oh, there's no such thing. There's no monster under your bed. There's nobody looking through the windows. Watch what you say, because you will condition them out of their abilities, okay? Make them doubt themselves. Plus, it makes them have anxiety. So anyway, the doctor gets one of those old digital cameras from like the early 2000s, I guess, when this was going on, and says, okay, if there's really a kid there, take pictures of him tonight and prove it to us. That way I can get you off the medication and know you're not, schizophrenic anymore, thinking he's going to be able to show this kid, look, honey, there's no one there. Okay. You're sick, XYZ. You guys know where this is headed. He snaps the pictures. Come the next day, he's got 10 pictures of a little boy sitting at the foot of his bed. You can see in each picture, the kid's mouth is at, like he's been talking as this schizophrenic, again, kid snaps these pictures. And the doctor was absolutely floored. I love seeing medical professionals come to terms with what we do in this community. I absolutely love it, because I can only understand non-belief as like, I can understand the concept of it, but I cannot imagine even being able to walk around with the ability to just be oblivious to everything that I see on a daily basis and everything that I know to be true. I can't even imagine like all of you normies out there who just like walk down the street and don't see spirits. You have no idea, right, that there's a dead person. You just walked through them. For me, I can walk around them. You have no idea that the cemetery behind your house, there's 45 displaced earthbound spirits. Do you know what I'm saying? I can't even imagine not knowing that. You have no idea that your spouse has some kind of demonic attachment until he or she starts showing you. I'll see that stuff right away and be like, oh, heck no. I'll start saging and doing what I need to do to get it out if that were to happen. I can't imagine looking at someone and not knowing immediately if they're a piece of poop or not, even though I've ignored that many times in the past, thinking I could change it. And like any other woman, like any other light worker, really, but I can see it immediately. Shelly, I'm so happy to see you. I missed you. I was just asking Ghost Dragons off the record the other night if he had seen you or not. Because we worry. We do worry in here. If you don't show up to my chat for a couple of weeks, we definitely worry. So guys, I just want to really quick, we've got another like 15 minutes left, but I just want to remind you, Danger at Your Door, Encounters with Black-Eyed Kids, Midnight Visitors, okay, True Stories of Black-Eyed Kids. Midnight Visitors is the companion book that is only encounters. Okay. Please pick those up on Amazon, Audible, or Kindle. And when you do, go and give me a 5-star rating at the very least, at most a review, a really good review. That is danger at your door. And here is Midnight Visitors. And my 6th book, Campfire Stories with Gemma Jade, will be released on February 6th. I put 5th on Facebook, but I hit the wrong button. It's the 6th. And yeah, go and pick it up. It's up for pre-order now. To Neil and anyone else who ordered it pre-order, thank you so much, guys. I was hoping Midnight Visitors would get to #1. We still have a chance. It doesn't mean it can't get there, right? But I need more of those reviews to get it pushed out. So please go and review it. Also,
hello, Val.
Val, what's up, girl? Jules says,
go ahead.
So how do you know if you're actually a really good person or not, or if you have one of these attachments if you can't see them yourself? So Jules, just because you have an attachment like that doesn't mean you're a bad person. I just want to make that very, very clear. Most people that are of higher vibration do end up with those attachments because we attract them. But also people of the darkness, like lower, very low vibrational people, will attract them as well. People in addiction are more, because you'll kind of know, if you go to start praying in your head and immediately start cursing, like you can't finish the prayer. That's one of the main ways I tell people who I know pray, can tell if they have some kind of lower vibrational attachment or not. Can you get through a whole prayer in your head without saying a curse word or hearing some voice in the back of your head saying something? That's a good way to figure it out. Also, usually these attachments will give themselves away through nightmares, sleep paralysis episodes. Did I just see that out of the corner of my eye? No. Okay. Things like that. There are ways, but I think the average person, especially outside of this community, just dismiss it as a trick of the lights, or that's just my overactive imagination, or because they're not as well connected to it as we are.
And not all attachments are bad. There are good attachments too that are there to protect you and kind of keep you on your path. So it's just distinguishing the two. To be honest, that's my opinion, because I've seen good attachments.
No, you're definitely right. But for me, I would say like a good attachment is like more a loved
one hovering over you.
But for me, that's, I guess, because of like the business I'm in. For me, that's just part of your team. So I don't really. You're right in that they are actually sometimes attachments, an ancestor or. But for me, I combine all those things and just call it your team. You know what I'm saying? But you are right in that there is a distinction for sure between the two.
Also, if I knew you were doing the medical thing, you know how many, because of the things that happened to me in hospitals, because it's not just the black-eyed kids that I see.
Well, I haven't started it yet, so send me anything you got.
But when I'm stuck in a hospital and I'll see something and say something to a nurse, next thing I know, I have like 5 nurses in my room telling me stories. Like your doctor story. I had this one doctor, one of the neurologists that I deal with, tell me a story that kind of interested me. He was dealing with a patient who had some severe neurological issues. He was in bad shape, but he had a very high IQ, the person that had this problem. As he was talking to this guy, he said for the first time in his life, he thought he saw 2 people standing in front of him. Because he was giving the guy a test, and as he gives the guy a test, you stand, do you walk, and all this stuff. But he said the person standing beside him, this guy he was working with, looked like a doppelganger of the other guy. He said, I thought I had double vision. And then when he started talking positive, his patient, the thing went away, and he never saw him after that. And I'm wondering was this doppelganger feeding off? Because I guess the guy was in a pretty bad way through most of the appointments. Because it's hard. Believe me, when you're doing this all day and you don't know if you can talk one day, and every morning's a blessing because you can get up and actually say hi without doing 20 times. It can get kind of aggravating, and it can get kind of depressing. And that day he noticed as he was communicating with his patient, he was seeing this because the guy started off pretty bad, pretty rough, but he doesn't understand what he said to this person that lightened him up. But it was like his whole attitude changed. Then he noticed the doppelganger thing just disappear. And every appointment after that, this man seemed to be in better spirits. And he was starting to come out of his shell. His mother told him that he's talking to people now, that, even with the issues that it was just weird. But it was kind of weird that this doctor saw this doppelganger. And I'm like, why? Because he knows, because I've told him, all my doctors know that I see stuff.
Right.
And so it's like I catch some slack sometimes. My family physician gets the giggles when I start talking about stuff, because I'll go to the family physician and see stuff, and I go, hey, dude, you got a patient out there. In fact, the last time I saw him, I said to him, you got a patient out there that, and he goes, oh, you saw something with them. And I go, yeah, but do me a favor. When you check this patient, ask them truly how they're feeling that day, today. And he kind of looked at me and I go, no, just saying whatever's with her is bad. And maybe you can give her some light. Because, a lot of doctors do have a very strong sense of light about them, even some of the bad ones, because they're so good at what they do.
They're being a lot of them are fed the information from ancestors and spirit guides. When you're done, I just want to tell a quick doppelganger story. Then we got to end because I've got work to do before I get RJ off. No, keep going. I'm not rushing you.
Oh, no. I was just gonna say, yeah. So it was kind of a weird thing, but yeah, I will send you some stories, especially some of the good ones I've heard from nurses. So,
all right, cool. Thank you, everyone, for your heartfelt well wishes. Yeah, I've been keeping myself very busy today, so I don't really have to think about it. And I put a little tribute video up on Facebook that made me smile. Okay, so I have a quick doppelganger story. I think I told it in a video a long time ago. So this young girl who didn't even think about the paranormal, right? She worked overnight at some fast food restaurant. I don't know which fast food restaurants stay open overnight. Either that or it was really, really late. Maybe they were open till 2 a.m. No, they stayed up overnight. She was working the overnight shift at some place with a drive-through. So I don't know. We don't have anything that stays overnight that has a inside and drive-through open all night, but wherever she worked, it was in the 90s. This is where she worked. She was there overnight. So it was very, very slow. There was no one inside, nobody in the drive-through. So she was stocking cups. And she, when you go to pull a cup from a fast food place, it's in that thing. So they can't just fall out. You pull one and the rest are stuck, and they are stuck in there because sometimes it's hard to even pull them out. So she pushes them all in, and it's the same amount of cups she always uses. But when she turns around to go in the back to get, the napkins or whatever, all the cups fall. So that's the first thing that let her know something was wrong. But she didn't think about it because she wasn't connected to the paranormal. So she's like, whatever. So she picks up the cups and she's like, now I have to tell my manager why we have to get rid of all these cups. They hit the floor, whatever. But then she turns around and there's a couple sitting at a table. And she looks over, they startled her. Or no, they were standing at the counter. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a while since I told this one. She turns around, they're just standing there. She didn't hear them come in. She didn't hear the bell chime. She didn't hear the car pull up. But she looks outside and she can see their car. It's parked right in front, some gray four-door, whatever. And oh, thank you, Val. Yeah, it's even worse when it comes from in-house. But you know what? The bigger I get, the more that's going to happen. So this girl's like, can I help you? And the guy and the girl are like arguing under their breath. And the guy's like, let's just have a large black coffee. So they go and sit down. She brings it to the table. And then they're like, thank you. She could hear them arguing. And she's thinking they're going to rob her, right? Because she's like, they have to be, maybe there's someone else outside. So they're giving her the creep. She has this really creeped out feeling, but she's trying to tell herself it's just because it's the middle of the night and she's alone. The female's there, you know, she thinks she's going to be robbed. So she's preparing for this as another car, the same exact car that this couple in the restaurant were driving, comes through the drive-thru. She sees it pull in. She's like, that's weird. 2 gray whatevers. They pull up. She goes through the drive-thru window, and it's the freaking couple that's sitting at the table. So she thinks they're doing. She turns and looks, but they're still sitting there. So she's like, there's no way there's twins dating twins. What is going on? The guy orders a large black coffee. Okay, so she's like, I got to make another pot. She goes to grab his money. He grabs her arm and says, is there anyone else in there? Now the girl knows something weird's going on. So she just says no. And the guy's like, are you sure there's nobody else in there? And they didn't drive past the car. They came from a different direction. So they didn't see it, I guess. And she goes, it's taking me way too long to tell this. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to remember it. So she tells them no, like there's nobody in there. He believes her. He's like, all right. She's like, I'll be right back. I have to make a fresh pot of coffee. So they're like, all right, but hurry up. You know, really abrasive, rude, like the other guy was. She goes back to put the coffee on. You can't see the area from the drive-thru. It's like there, but you can't see it. The guy and the girl come up, they're arguing. The guy tells her, you need to put this. He gives her white powder in their coffee. She goes, I can't contaminate someone's coffee. The girl's crying. He goes, you have to do it. She's like, there's no way I'm doing that. I'm not going to contaminate somebody's coffee. I don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to call the police. The guy looks her in the eyes, and she said she felt like she was being like glamored, like entranced. And he said, listen to me. If the people in that car look like us, you need to put this in their coffee. She said, I don't know what came over me. I think she was trying to cover her butt because, like, who would want to hire someone that put some random substance? So she said she thinks she was compelled. But either way, she takes him seriously. She puts it in the coffee, stirs it up, goes and hands it to the guy. He drinks it. The car and both people disappear right off the drive-thru. She's terrified. The lights start flickering, blinking. She turns around. The other couple's gone. Their car's gone. There's a $50 tip sitting on the table for a cup of coffee. So they paid for the coffee. Then they left $50 bill and a note on the receipt that said, thank you for making our demons go away, with a smiley face.
I could believe something like that. Now, how do you tell a story to a bunch of friends, you know?
But the thing is, like, I always wondered, were they involved in some kind of occult stuff? And did they get into like a car accident? If I were her, I would have researched people that passed away in car accidents or that passed away suddenly in that area, like a couples that passed away together, young couples, because the couple was only in their early 20s. But I also wonder, is this a case of attachment? Did these people die together, a couple? They were obviously a couple. And did they have some kind of attachment? Were these doppelgangers looking for their souls? Now, this was a girl who, it obviously happened in Canada. I could tell by her accent. That's probably why I was trying to reconcile the 24-hour thing. She was peeling the skin off her finger as she was talking. The camera you could tell she was terrified. She had tears in her eyes. She wasn't lying. So how do you reconcile that? Do you know what I'm saying? Multifaceted, Jules, you are so right. I mean, some paranormal entities should definitely worry us, but not to the same point that human beings should right now, especially with our, I'll say it, our country, the way that it is. I can't wait for elections.
Here, folks. It's everywhere.
Can't wait for elections. That's all I'm going to say. Guys, I do have to go, though, because I have some work to do before I get RJ off the bus. And yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Live Intuitive Oracle will be Saturday. I'll be by Mom's again. I've got to go by myself to help her pack. I don't know how I'm going to do that without RJ. He's going to be devastated, but he doesn't let me get anything done. So I can't go with him because 2 weekends ago when I went by her house with him, I was supposed to be helping her pack. I couldn't get anything done. So love, light, and many blessings, guys. Don't forget to donate if you can. I'm not trying to push it on y'all. PayPal and Cash App comes to me right away. And I don't have a big income anymore. So yeah. Also encounters with evil. Yes. Danger at your door. Encounters with Black-Eyed Kids, Midnight Visitors, True Stories of Black-Eyed Kids, and Campfire Stories. So Danger at Your Door, Midnight Visitors kind of go together. Midnight Visitors being the companion book to Danger at Your Door, only encounters, all available on Kindle, paperback, on Amazon, and on Audible. Campfire Stories with Gemma Jade 1, because it is going to be a series, is up for pre-order on Amazon right now and will be fully released on February 6th. That is Encounters in the Woods, real stories. I've collected them myself. Nothing fake about them. You guys can trust me on that, which I think is important that people know where the stories are coming from, because I've read some books where it was obvious people were making things up on the fly, and I just don't go for that. So love you guys. Tomorrow I have my doctor, so I won't be getting much done, but expect some more shorts. I'll try to send you some funny shorts or do something. I hope you guys have been enjoying those. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ghost Dragons, I'm sure little man will want to know what you're doing after school. So I'll be hitting you up and seeing what's up with that. Yeah. And don't forget Paranormal Odyssey. I will give you guys the link in the community tab and on Facebook tomorrow when that's up and running with Wayne, the radio interview I just did before this stream. All right, guys. Bye.
Goodbye. Adios, amigos.